What's up, guys? We got another video again. We got two videos in the same week. How about that? Today's video is going to be about farms and what I have found to be a successful way to farm, big GL guides, or I guess journey guides, and all that kind of fun stuff. Diving right into it is the data. This is pretty short and sweet. I like to usually go for the grays and the blues. It just really depends on what you have. You want to just make sure you have enough of everything. Um, I like to do three refreshes a day, so all the 100s. By the end of 1 week, I have almost Relic 7 ready to go. So from Relic 0 to Relic 7, I have all that material ready to go if I were to do the 3 refreshes. Um, with Conquest being a thing these days, you can actually get a pretty good amount of these greens and blues if you were to just farm the nodes and you get all the extra Conquest, the like cash or whatever the currency is. You can pay and spend those on some of these green and blue relic materials. So it's kind of basic. I mean, you gotta just farm these. It's a constant grind. What I find to be more difficult these days are the scraps. So like the circuit boards, the wiring, stuff like that. More on specifically those two things, actually. There's some really awesome nodes that I found from people, in Discord or just through a channel, like a YouTube channel and YouTubers, or just like my own experiences. Well, what we found out is that this 1D is the best for the circuit boards, which is the very first relic scrap that you need, or the relic mats you need to partner along with the data. So this guy with the Royal Guard right here, all of these gear pieces are easily craftable or scrappable, I guess, into getting those circuit boards. And it's a very cheap node. Like I can do one attempt right here, and I get a pretty decent amount for what I'm spending. So this is awesome. You can get quite a bit of those circuit boards stacked up there. So there's that one, but then also the Bronzium wirings, which might be a bit more tricky. This node right here, 7B with Savage, it's actually awesome because it's a Cairo node, but you can hit this a few times. If you guys still need a farm like shards or other Kairos, then you gotta do that. But if you're able to farm these Kairos, the shock prods, you gotta do this node because you also get those Bronzium wirings attached with it. So these other pieces, not the Kairos, but like this guy, some of the other ones, they are scrappable, and you can turn them into the Bronzium wirings, which is a great thing. Besides that, everything else I usually just get just by casually playing the game and through other rewards in different game modes. For the level 3 raid tokens, the Mark 3 ones, using these guys, if I'm low, I'll probably buy some keypads or the detectors. Usually it's going to be the Zen Biddles, though. I would say, in my experience, it's the impulse detectors or the Zen Biddle cards. And I use that usually for my level 3s. Everything else I usually have an okay amount of, but if I'm ever low, then I just go and buy them really quick. And the raids come out pretty often, so I feel like I'm always in a pretty good surplus of things. And that's kind of just why the raid tokens are so important. And you got to have them so you can get some of these things. I think what I'm trying to say is it's so important to have some of those things, which makes having those raid units ready for like this Endor escalation or like the biker chase, having Scout Trooper, the Ewoks, Empire, Rebel units, having those guys ready for that increases your likelihood of getting big guild token rewards at the end of every single raid. And that's a huge deal right now, guys. So that's kind of the signal data stuff. I want to make this video like a 2-part video. So talking about those two things really quick. It's just the daily farms. But a day in the life of like what I'm doing right now, I'm still a bit away from Leia. I'm trying to get all these, guys just to the Relic 0, just Gear 13 unlock. Or at Gear 13, I guess, because I already have them unlocked. But I'm trying to get them all just with gear right now. And so with the gear, it kind of goes back to just clicking on these things, what you need, and then just kind of shopping. Like, oh, there's 10 of them right there. I just finished this piece for Akbar, so that's pretty sweet. This stuff, I don't think I'm going to go into, honestly, that much because it's just like shopping, like going to the grocery store. Just like, oh, I got to pick this out, got to have it, got to have that. The other ones you gotta be a little bit more meticulous about with the relics and the signal data and the materials, the scrap, I guess. So that's that. But usually what I've been doing with the Leia requirements, mine were like pretty pitiful, guys. I had to start from like the ground up basically. I was so far off. I was like 4 out of 16 or whatever it is to where I'm at now in the space of like a month and a half. Um, so basically what I do, I just farm the data and everything we've already gone over in the video. The biggest kicker though in the farms to me, yes, it is the relic and the data and just getting that stuff ready for you guys, but it's sometimes just the shards. Like on these new characters, the shards can take quite a while. Luckily enough, though, in the past months, we've had a lot of double drops. And without double drops, I am sure this would take me at least another month or so to get caught up to where I needed to be with my shards. But that's that. Leia is awesome. I'm really close to getting her, so I'm excited. Let's talk about like post Leia, what that looks like though. Post Leia, what am I going to probably be doing? Well, I would love to kind of shift my focus, yes, into those new characters that we just got. So Paz Vizsla, Beck, IG-12. Yes, I'm going to try to work on those for the farming and the shards, but where am I going to use now, since I got the Leia requirements with all the relics needed, where am I going to put those relics? Well, I definitely want to have a pretty good horde going, but I would immediately want to work on some of these teams that I haven't quite finished off yet. This could be like some fleet stuff. This could be like some GAC as well. Maybe like a GL like Rey. I want to just top off that Relic 9 because she's awesome in GAC and TW with the Relic 9. But I'm honestly thinking more about that raid, kind of circling back to that raid, because if I can get enough relics on those guys for the raid and I can get a pretty decent score, I will increase my chances of getting more of those pieces that can help me get more relics in the future. And it's just this really awesome cycle going on. Let's say I have most of those things, those Empire units and those Ewoks and those Rebels to like, let's say Relic 5. Well, then I'll be probably moving on to some other GL teams. Honestly, though, I would be super interested in getting some tanks at Relic 9 or 8. The tanks have a huge, like, likelihood of being awesome for a longer period of time in the game. Not saying supports or attackers won't, but you just get such durable tanks with Relic 9s. Especially if their mastery is a specific mastery. It's just awesome. Like, I wish I had Shore Trooper with some relics. I wish I had Storm Trooper with high relics. Stuff like Crew or like Third Sister and Malgus, those would be sweet to have Relic 9s. But yeah, there's so much that you gotta, let's say like you're in a position where you're just finishing up a GL and you have some time to build up some of those other important teams. What you really gotta do is think about where that team's gonna be used. If it's GAC or Territory Wars or something like that, where you can get some pretty sweet rewards. You want to prioritize in this game. If you're not prioritizing and you're like doing this and that team and that farm all at the same time, you're really not going to get anywhere. You're going to be taking like 3 times as long. You want to make sure that you are directly getting something the fastest you can. Once you get that, sweet, and then move on to the next. I found it to be kind of detrimental to me in a GAC standpoint in getting crystals, because that's a pretty big thing right now, getting crystals is from GAC. And if I go from like 3 different farms at the same time and I don't pinpoint one of them, I feel like I'm kind of falling behind in a sense, which might sound weird to say, but that's really how it goes. It took me way longer to get Leviathan unlocked than it should have. And I was like, instead of like weeks, I was like a month or 2 out of getting him unlocked and getting that whole fleet ready to go. So I guess my advice would be don't go like 3 or 4 things at once. Try to like pinpoint and prioritize your farms. But more importantly, just making sure that you're consistent and that you get your units to a usable level. And whatever like the journey guide says, you got to get, that's like the requirement. That's good. As long as that character is still usable at that relic level, then sweet, keep it like that. But if there's specific characters that really benefit with high relics, then move those relics over to those. So like I'm lucky enough that I have now Leia to get done, and after Leia there really isn't much for me to get done in the game outside of like the next conquest unit or like the next journey guide character, like the hero's journey, or like this new Sabine, or sorry, this new Bo-Katan, stuff like that. But anyways, guys, I'm not sure if any of this is really helpful to you, but I think what is a key takeaway from this video is just that you can get a lot of those scrap and those mats from these specific nodes. 1D for the light side, and that's for the circuit boards, and then 7B Sauvage for the bronzium wirings. You guys do that, and you prioritize your farms, and you make sure that you're spending your resources the right way. You'll be just fine. I'm sure you guys already know this, but I wanted to hit up a lot of things in this video. I wanted to make it so like people know where to find these resources. I wanted to also make sure that people know kind of what to do after a big farm, like what's the next step for them, what you can kind of be doing in the background while your main focus is a big galactic legend. Let's say it's like a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. You got that as your main focus. Well, what can you do in the background that doesn't impact that main farm too much, but you can still do that to kind of get you a head start in the next farm? Stuff like that I think is super important, so you get a head start in the game. You don't feel like you're lacking in any aspect and all that sort of stuff. I'm not even going to go into mods because mods are a huge thing. Again, it's just like a whole nother ballpark with with farms, and you only get so many crystals in a day to do with those farms. If you're able to get like top 5 in fleet and you win a good amount of your GACs, then I feel like you have a lot more possibilities with the mods and your farms and your depth of that. If you don't hit that, then I feel like if you want to have a really good mod, then you probably got to spend a few more crystals, maybe spending real money or anything like something like that, I guess. It just really is dependent on where you're at in your crystal income. You don't want to be going in the negatives. You want to try to, get a horde going, and it just is sometimes difficult to acquire. But anyways, guys, I think that's about it. I hope this video was helpful to some extent. If you guys have questions, or if you guys have any more comments about these things and what you like to do, your nodes that you like to hit when you farm, where you're at in your farms right now, what's difficult, what's easy, feel free to share all these things in the comments below. If you guys have any other questions, again, down below in the comments. But I think that's about it, guys. Let me know your feedback, and if you guys have any more videos that you would like me to do and cover and ideas for those, let me know as well. But I think that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching another video, and I'll see you all later. Bye, guys.